Okay, hello everybody. Daniel from Living Colour here. This is the D&M show, and today I have a very interesting character, Chris Action Jackson, Australia's leading peak performance coach. How are you, Chris? Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Daniel. Always good to chat to you, brother. Yeah, greetings from beautiful Bali.
Bali sounds interesting, and yeah, just wanted to ask you a few questions today and get some insight from you, and yeah, hopefully we can teach our viewers something and yeah, take it from here. So, first thing, what have you been up to since last time we spoke? Now, you just mentioned you're talking from Bali there. Can you tell me a bit about that and what's going on down there?
Yeah, so I'm now basing myself out of Bali. So obviously Perth is still very, very dear to my heart, but
Yes.
Bali is where I'm basing myself now to expand myself both professionally and personally. Bali, I'm living here in Ubud. It's a bit of a mecca for personal development, for spiritual growth, for personal growth. And I just felt drawn here. So yeah, I've relocated to Bali and I'm now living here and I'm loving the place. It's absolutely incredible. And so I'll still be traveling backwards and forwards between Perth, but for now, Ubud is my home in Bali and it's incredible. Absolutely loving it here, mate. So exciting times.
So it sounds like you've got a bit of a vibe happening down there. There's a bit of community of individuals, like-minded individuals. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah. To personal development. So it's pretty much it's like a whole town of people that are into personal development. So it's big on meditation and yoga, but there's so many other modalities of healing and spirituality and personal development. So you pretty much walk into any cafe here and you strike up a conversation with people that are on a similar journey of expansion and personal development. So it's a ready-made community of people that are doing some pretty amazing things in life. So yeah, it's a very, very special energy and very amazing, inspiring place to be in. And it's infectious in the most beautiful way.
Mate, that sounds incredible. That's something I'd love to bring here in Perth. I mean, they say you're the average of the 5 people you hang around. So imagine the kind of energy and positivity you'd be experiencing over there in Bali. It'd be next level.
Mate, it's incredible. It really is next level. And there's so many business opportunities that are also going down. There's so many like entrepreneurs, startups, as well as established business owners that are really creating some really big projects, particularly in the space of personal development. So yeah, I'm in my zone here. Absolutely loving it.
Oh, I'm jealous. Okay, so in terms of personal development, I'd like to actually know your definition of personal development because, a lot of people I come across, have different ideas of what it is. How would you just define personal development in a nutshell?
Yeah, I think keeping it really simple. I think it's just generally improving the quality of one's life. That's really what it boils down to. I mean, everyone who's in personal development is wanting the same thing. They're wanting to improve the quality of their life. The only thing that differs in different fields of personal development and different modalities is the specifics about how people believe that the best way to do that is. So fundamentally, it's improving one's life, specifically through understanding the self, understanding how we operate as a human. I think that's a really simple definition, but one that's quite empowering as well.
So
yeah,
what advice would you give someone who's just starting out on a personal development journey? So who doesn't know much about it or doesn't really know what they're in for? What sort of words of encouragement can you give them to say, to even keep them continuing on that journey, even if they're having doubts or whatever?
Yeah. Well, this is just the world according to Chris. But in my experience, personal development, there is no higher return on investment for the time, the energy, the money invested in working on yourself. So when you go down the personal development rabbit hole, and there are many rabbit holes, you're going to find out so many amazing things about yourself, so many beautiful, empowering learnings about life, about yourself, about how to create the life that you want. Like, all the answers are there in terms of everything you need to know about living a fulfilling life and how to improve your life. All the answers are contained in the field of personal development and in the subsets of personal development. So that would be my number one bit of advice that I think is really inspiring, is knowing that all the answers that we're seeking, they're there. They really are there. And even more empowering is all those answers we actually already have those answers inside of us. And what that means is that everything that personal development points to is it's always pointing back to, we are our own guru. We are our own self-guided guru. We already have the answers inside of us, and everything in personal development is simply reflecting back at us clues and cues and tools to help us go inward and actually realize the truth that we already have inside of us. So yes, we might go to a mentor or a coach or a seminar or read a book, but fundamentally all those things are just reminding us of what we already know to be true at the core. So I forget who said the quote, but they said something like, learning is remembering. And
I like that.
It really is true that everything in personal development is simply reflecting back at us who we are. And so it's just a deeper self-realization of what is true for us. And yeah, there's just lots of different ways of arriving at that truth.
Yeah. So that it's interesting you say that. So that's a very beautiful thing that you said. And, you know, some people would be, say, skeptical about personal development, right? I mean, some people would have another sort of view on it. What advice would you give to someone starting on a personal journey that would experience maybe some criticism from outsiders, you know, whether it's their family, their friends, basically naysayers or people who are skeptical about the journey of personal development? Because I know there's this misconception that, you know, it's like putting that pressure on yourself, you know, like you're not good enough, you need to be better. What would you say to someone experiencing that sort of criticism, someone who's on that personal development journey?
Yeah, good question. This happens a lot, and it happens a lot to pretty much everyone that I know in the space of personal development comes across some level of resistance from other people in their life that feel challenged or threatened by, when you go through this journey of expansion and evolution, it threatens a lot of people. It threatens the people that are close to you. It probably threatens your family, your friends, because the reason why it threatens them is because they will see you expanding and growing. And fundamentally, deep down, they won't necessarily be conscious of this, but unconsciously what it's actually doing is it's making them feel insecure because they think, oh, well, what am I doing to grow and expand? And so what can happen is there's covert judgment that takes place. And a lot of, as I said, a lot of this it's not deliberate, but it's this unconscious pattern of the ego that plays out where people, they don't like to feel like they're falling behind. And so what they'll do is they'll judge it, they'll label it, you know, they'll say that, you know, you might be drinking snake oil, or you know, someone's trying to sell you something that they're lying to you. And that's just a natural function of human beings when they're coming from a place of fear. Is, you know, they will, instead of seeing the opportunity in something, they'll be fearful of it. And that's exactly what happens for a lot of people that haven't experienced personal development, is because they don't know it, they will label it as being something that's either trying to manipulate you, or they'll see it as some kind of cult or some sort of crazy religion. And that's just human, that's just natural, I'd say the default human perspective, which is the ego, which is just a fear-based program, which when unsupervised, it creates a very limited perspective. So my advice would be, number one, don't listen to them. But secondly, probably expect a degree of resistance. And thirdly, don't feel like you need to prove yourself to anyone. And don't feel like you need to entertain this debate of feeling like you need to justify why you're doing something. If it resonates with you and you know that you're wanting to improve your life, and that's all that matters. And I recognize that, yes, you might be challenged. Yes, you might feel like maybe some of your friendships are going to get stretched. And if that happens, great. Celebrate that, because your relationships are going to change over in the course of your life. There are some people that are going to stick with you in the journey and some that won't. Just like a tree drops dead limbs over the course of its life to, you know, shedding dead bark and dead limbs. Well, the same thing goes for us in our life, is sometimes we drop off people that aren't necessarily meant to be with us for the long-term journey, and we will attract other people that will be that will come closer together in terms of friendships and bonds. So also recognize that, you know, there is a natural purging and a natural evolution process that happens, but don't take it personally when someone criticizes you. Realize that it's all about you improving your life. Stick to your guns, and just realize that they're probably going to be resistant. Not always, but sometimes they might be resistant to seeing you evolving and changing, because it creates the illusion that they're falling behind.
Yes, that's actually a brilliant insight, because, you know, obviously it's not going to be for everybody at the end of the day, and you can't expect it to be for everybody. And, you know, I was experiencing this myself. You know, I'd come across criticism and skepticism and all that. And I didn't really like, it would frustrate me in a way. But having you say it that way, like human beings, you know, they fear the unknown, or they fear stepping out of their comfort zone. And that, you know, personal development is, you're basically stepping out of your comfort zone. You're growing. You know, when you step out of your comfort zone, you grow. So you're in this constant state of growth. And I can totally understand now why people are a bit skeptical about it, you know. And I think once you understand that, it takes your frustration away. Like, you know, you accept that you know, our human brain is designed to protect us. You know, we're designed to stay in our comfort zones. So I think understanding that is a fantastic way to sort of, you know, I guess, accept the naysayers for who they are, and understand that they are the way they are because of that reason. So I think that was a brilliant insight that you said there, because I never really thought of it that way in that sense, you know.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, thanks, man. And one of the things that comes to mind is one of my friends actually asked me, Chris, why do you do all this personal development?
Yeah.
You know, you're already a really smart guy. You're already,
yeah.
You know, there's nothing wrong with you. Why are you spending all your time going to all these workshops and studying and why do you do it? And I said, it's because I want to experience the best life that I can. That's why I do it, is I want to live a magnificent life. And so, you know, when you look at the benefits you get from personal development, it's quite obvious now that I've been doing it for so long, is that personal development is the doorway to access manifesting all of your desires. Everything you've ever wanted to create in your life is available through the doorway of personal development. So that's my really simple answer, is I want to live the best life that I can, and that's the doorway. That's my access to it.
You know, and it's funny you say that, because, you know, it's like you said, you know, well, there's nothing wrong with you. Like your friend said, there's nothing wrong with you. And I think that's what scares people. It's like thinking, oh, there's something wrong with me. Why would I want to be on this journey? It's like they're saying something wrong with me, and people want to sort of, they shy away from that. But, you know, some people might even argue what you just said, Dan. You said you gave your reasons why you like, you know, why you're on this journey. But some people might even argue, well, why do you want that for? Because I don't know, I've come across, and this is just my opinion, I feel like I've come across two types of people in the world. I feel like I come across the people who are lacking fulfillment and need that growth and that evolution. And then I feel like I come across people who are just simply content with where they are. And they'll never have that need or desire to grow or have that growth. So, you know, it's not even, with some people, I guess it's not even a fear thing. It's just, look, I'm just content. I'm simply content with where I am. Like, do you ever find that coming across all the people you've come across, do you find that they sort of come in those two categories, where you just get people who are simply grateful and just keeping it simple, just happy where they are, not interested in growing? And then you get people who just need that growth. If they're not growing, they're not feeling fulfilled.
Yeah, look, you've got those people and everything in between, but definitely, yeah, you're going to find people that fit into those broad categories. I think a lot of people, and I used to be included in that second category you mentioned, which was I was just content. But the thing was, I thought that I was content. I thought that I was happy, but I didn't have anything to benchmark that against. Yes. I didn't have any awareness about limiting beliefs, or, you know, what I could create, or the concept of abundance. I'd subscribed to, well, you know, I've got a job, I've got an investment property. I'm just going to work my 40 hours a week, and then I'm just going to wait till I retire to eventually enjoy my life. Basically, that was the model that I subscribed to for a long period of my life. And so you could say, yeah, I was content. I was pretty happy. You know, I thought my life's great. But then I started asking those deeper questions that a lot of us do when we get into personal development, which is, well, what do you actually want? If you can create anything in this life, what would you like to create? What's the most authentic expression of us? If we're taking our life to a whole nother level, what would we like to experience? You know, if there's an infinite drop-down menu of options that we can pick from in life, what would you pick? So, you know, if people start actually tapping into the infiniteness of this life and the abundance that truly exists, well, what typically happens is people very quickly go from that second category to the first category, which is realizing, oh, wow, I can actually be more authentic. I can actually experience greater bliss, greater joy, all these amazing things. We now start to get access to that. But in order to go from the category of just being content, in order to wanting to pursue expansion and wanting to pursue growth, there's a couple of factors and belief systems that need to get collapsed or added, if you like, before someone even appreciates there's a whole new world out there, that there's even something else that we can obtain.
Yeah, that's it's very interesting you say that. Going back to when you said you were once that person that fitted into that first category of individuals where they were just content with where you were, and then you transitioned into that growth mindset, and then you came across abundance and a higher consciousness, or whatever you want to call it. I experienced something exactly like what you're saying. There was a time in my life up to a certain period where I was content. This is it. This is all it was, And then I started questioning things, which led me onto a journey of self-discovery, which led me onto a journey of personal development, etc. But there's one thing I can't answer, and what was the catalyst for that transition? Why did you go from being in that first category to the second category? What was the catalyst? What made you start questioning these things? Because I can't answer this question.
Yeah, for me, there was a very distinct moment, and it was two moments. The first moment was when I was in a relationship at the time that ended, that didn't end very elegantly.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result of that relationship ending, I got some feedback about myself, and I realized that I actually thought I was a better human than I was.
Yes.
I actually thought that, I really had all my shit together, if I'm allowed to say that. I thought I had it together. And it turned out that I had a lot of gaps in my knowledge, my awareness. I thought that I was a really, really switched on, hyper, super aware person, but it turned out I wasn't. And so that was the catalyst, because I realized that I'd become so complacent about life and about learning. I'd switched off learning. I thought that I knew it all. I thought education, tick, I've done a degree. Great, that's my school out of the way. Yeah. Great, I've got a job, tick. I've got a house, tick. And so I'd fallen into this mode of complacency, which was great. Well, I've achieved all that I need to in life, and now I can just sort of sail through. And then I realized, wow, I'd settled. I really had settled emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, economically, in pretty much every dimension of life. I had settled. And it was only once I had that relationship end, when I got the feedback about me, it was quite a
wake up call.
It was a wake up call. It was a dent to my ego, but at the same time, it was the wake up call that I needed to give me a bit of a slap and wake me up and say, Chris, you get one crack at life. You get one opportunity. Let's actually go all in and make this one count. Because do you want to take a gamble that you want to gamble on not getting another life? So that was the wake up call. And then I really started pursuing personal development courses after that, because I then saw, I need to learn about me. I need to understand human behavior. First of all, I just need to understand what goes on inside my mind, such that I can improve my life. And then, so I saw that was as clear as day. And it was from that moment, I just had amazing experience after experience in terms of books, personal development courses, coach trainings, retreats, workshops. And I just got one training after the next that was just blowing my mind, to the point where I was like, wow, this is exactly what I need. And I'm going to keep pursuing it for the rest of my life. When I first started out, I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought I was broken. And I know a lot of people that first get into personal development, there is some catalyst like that. For me, I thought that I was broken and I needed fixing. But quickly, I realized, well, no one's broken. We're all just simply operating out of the highest level of consciousness and understanding that we have available to us. And there is just simply more realizations and more accurate truth that we can tap into that gives us a more functional experience of reality. And so instead of me feeling like I needed to fix myself, it quickly became, I want to grow, because it's just a beautiful experience to awaken, to experience more of our authentic selves, to experience more joy, more love. So it moved from wanting to avoid negative experiences to just moving towards positive experiences and just wanting to naturally evolve. So it quickly became more of a positive focus rather than I need to be fixed and I'm broken.
Oh, no, that's, well, that makes perfect sense, Chris. I mean, it sounds like adversity breeds growth. Do you know what I mean? Like you face some sort of emotional trauma in your life, whether it's a relationship breakup, the death of a loved one, a financial problem, something that that gives you that kick, that sort of sparks the paradigm shift. Once it happens to the right kind of person, I think that's what sets them off. So yeah, that makes perfect sense what you said. Okay, on another note, if you were to say your top three, top two, whatever, favorite motivational speakers or authors, like what you were saying when you went on this tangent of, researching personal development, reading books, going on courses, watching motivational speakers, what were the ones that really sparked it for you, whether it's an author or a motivational speaker or a particular course you went to? What were the tops? What was the ones that you always remember that kicked it off for you?
Yeah, the ones that I remember the most, well, I'd say probably Tony Robbins was the guy that was my guiding influence when I first got into personal development. He was the one. So in terms of really watching videos, reading his books, doing his training courses, UPW and Date with Destiny, and I've done a lot of his events, and that was the catalyst. That really was me seeing I guess I would consider one of the best coaches, one of the best agents of change that stands for good in this world. So that was the real motivating factor. I'd say probably another early pioneer of that, who's around a little while ago, but he's still alive, is Les Brown. And Les Brown,
he's great. He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's incredible. Like the energy and the inspiration that comes through his voice and like the way that he holds himself, you feel it through every cell of your body. So I'd say Les Brown is the other one that really, in terms of just when you finish listening to them, you are on another level. You are just vibrating you're vibrating at a level, like just at the next level, and just creates this sense of I can do anything. And I would say probably the third person, which I would definitely reflect on, importantly for the viewers that are watching this, is you want to be your own source of inspiration. You want to be your own self-guided guru that's going to provide your own inspiration. So yes, it's great to absorb that external stimulus, if you like, and yes, it's great to surround yourself with like-minded people and flood your internal system with all these positive, beautiful, inspiring messages. But you've got to be your own self-guided guru. You've got to create your own inspiration by being the visionary for your own life as well. So that's what I also started to realize, was that I have to be my own source of inspiration more so than anyone else, because I want to be my own authentic expression. I want to tap into what's true for me. Yes, there's some great external sources, but fundamentally, I want to be the one empowered to decide when I'm inspired rather than relying on someone outside of me.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so what's on the horizons for Chris Action Jackson? What have you got in store for the future? Fill me in.
Yeah, so I'm over here in Bali, really deepening my personal development journey. So I'm starting to learn about a lot of other deeper personal development modalities. So, as you know, I'm an NLP trainer. I've trained people in hypnosis, NLP, timeline therapy, a lot of different modalities around traditional human behavior and personality profiling and lots of different things. But what I'm now on the frontier of is a lot of these deeper modalities like breathwork and meditation, and really, I would say a lot more powerful styles of meditation and visualization, and a lot of energetic work where you're actually tapping into energy systems in the body to actually activate higher levels of consciousness and peak states of consciousness. So that's where I'm heading, in that direction, to complement everything that I've already been studying and training and teaching and coaching others in. But yeah, it's really starting to explore a slightly different direction, which is more around, I guess you'd say, more of the spiritual end of the spectrum, and around energy, breathing, mindfulness, those sorts of modalities. So that's where I'm heading. Yeah.
That sounds very exciting. Very exciting indeed. And isn't it funny how you start off somewhere in business, right? And it's sort of just evolves. Like you have your direction, but it's not so specific in a sense. Like it's flexible, if you know what I mean. You have the direction that you're going, but then you start to evolve and adapt, and opportunities might come up and direct you in different ways. It's just amazing how that happens. Like, would you have thought 5 years ago that you'd be where you are in business now? Or when you first started your business, would you think you'd be here now doing this?
No way, never. And I think that's really inspiring, is because if I was to ever try and design this, you know, how we sometimes in personal development, we say, you know, oh, what do you want for your life? Or what do you want for your vision? What do you see as, you know, where you're going to be? Like, you know, plan out your goals and just design your life. Well, I could have never have designed this. This has happened in a way that's been more magnificent and more beautifully joyful than I could ever have possibly designed. And so that's another one of these, what I believe is a truth of this life, is that this universe has a plan for us grander than we can ever have awareness of. When we trust it, when we follow our authentic expression. And that's different to just waiting and being complacent and hoping that the universe is going to provide for us. What we're doing is we're trusting it, but we're also taking action and putting ourselves forward, even when we don't know all the answers. Even when we're not sure exactly what the steps are, it's trusting and having faith that everything that we want and desire in life, plus more than we can ever be aware of, well, that's all there waiting for us. As soon as we trust, when we take action, when we create momentum, when we move, even though we don't know all the answers, that's what it comes down to. So yeah, to answer your question, I could have never have dreamed of what I'm experiencing now. It's more incredible than what I could have ever have dreamed of. And who knows, in another 2, 5, 10 years, I'm sure I couldn't have predicted where I will end up either. And I'm glad that's the case. I'm glad that's the reality that we live in as well. Because how boring would that be if you knew what was going to happen?
It would exactly defeat the purpose. I think the beauty of it is, you know, the whole process. And like you said, trust the process, but take action. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like you're not waiting for something to fall on your lap. You're trusting the direction, but you're taking action, and it sort of leads you. It leads you where you want to be. It's amazing. So that's really good to hear, Chris. And Project Limitless. Can you give me a little bit of rundown on your new online course? Sounds amazing.
Yeah. So what I've done is I've now expanded what I'm teaching and training my clients in to now include online trainings. So I've designed a 12-week online training, which is a very intensive 12-week journey for people to really master most of what I believe are the most powerful modalities in creating like really rapid change in human behavior and in results. So it's distilling what I believe is, out of everything that I've learned in personal development, what are the most important, the most impactful elements that move, I say, the needle the most, in terms of what's the most impactful modalities and concepts people can really start to study, learn, and more importantly, apply, such that they start to integrate those things into a daily way of being. So yeah, I've condensed my life's work down to 12 powerful weeks of intense transformational tools that are drip fed on a daily basis, with weekly interactions, with live classes, with Q&A, with a powerful Facebook community where everyone is championing each other and supporting each other, and they're getting support in a group community. So it's a way of creating a powerful community with accountability, where you get all the information, all the support that you need to create results in your life. And I think the most important thing these days with a lot of personal development courses is there's such a low completion rate. Is one of the things that's really important for me is having support inside a course. And you'd know this inside your community, how important it is to actually have camaraderie, have friendship, have accountability, have a support community that's there with the journey. Because if you're just on your own, then it's very, very difficult to actually apply and to learn and to implement and integrate all these things. Whereas in a community, completely different story. It's you're challenged, but you're also supported by so many people that are on the same sort of journey that are going to elevate you and support you. So yeah, Project Limitless, that's my life's work condensed into 12 powerful weeks of online transformation. So yeah, that's the frontier of what I'm creating at the moment. And we've just had the first intake. We've had some powerful results in that group. Pretty much everyone that's been through that training, we're up to week 9, everyone has seen profound transformation in so many different dimensions of their life, including, getting clear on their life purpose, understanding their core values, understanding their vision for their life, understanding what I call the deep transformational pillars of emotional intelligence. People understand how they operate out of their belief systems, how to overcome limiting beliefs, how to transform fundamentally most of the major components of the human psyche, as well as understanding elements of the ego. And so I've just mentioned a couple of the elements that are in the program there, but from what I've learned in personal development, it's the most powerful concepts that I know of, condensed into 12 powerful weeks. So that's Project Limitless.
Well, that sounds amazing, especially the fact that you've got that online Facebook community where people get to, converse and challenge each other and support each other and hold each other accountable. I mean, there's nothing worse than, you're paying for a course, doing one course by yourself and then walking away and then just hoping for the best. And I think that community thing, that is just such a powerful thing. And you're actually mingling with people who are doing the same course, who are on that same journey, wanting to better themselves. And I think it just creates more synergy that way rather than feeling alone.
Totally.
That's an amazing thing. And Project Limitless, how can people learn more about Project Limitless? So I've actually got a friend. Sorry, I've actually got a friend who's currently doing your Project Limitless course, and she reckons it's incredible. She's about halfway through it, and she reckons it's fantastic. So, how would I get more people to learn about Project Limitless?
Yeah, so if anyone's interested in taking their life to another level, the best way to find out about it is to go to the chrisjacksoncoaching.com website. Mm-hmm. So just chrisjacksoncoaching.com. And under the tabs at the top, you'll find programs, and you just click the drop-down menu and you'll see Project Limitless there. Mm-hmm. So that's got all the information that you need to know about it. If it resonates with you and you want to join, then let us know and we can have a conversation with you just to make sure you're the right fit for it, because not everyone is a match for Project Limitless. It's a powerful transformational course and people need to be ready to be fully accountable to taking action on that. Mm-hmm. And if you're wanting more information or just wanting to know more about how it operates, what to expect, then I've got one of my, Catherine, who's on my team, and she'll be happy to explore and explain all the details to anyone that needs to know more information about it, so they have all their questions answered before they join the program. So give us a call, send us a message, and I'm happy to guide you through seeing if it might be a fit for you.
Sounds good, mate. Well, unfortunately, we've run out of time for today's interview, but I just want to thank you for coming along and thank you for giving us all that information and the insight. It's always great having a chat with you, Chris. And if anybody wants to know more about this, I'll put the necessary links in the description. Thank you for watching the D&M show. And also, if you've seen this video and you're not a member of the Living Colour Facebook page, feel free to give it a like. You can be updated with our free content, and we have regular social events and workshops. We're building a community of like-minded individuals who are into personal development, and we're providing you with an education system, for adults, stuff that should have been taught in schools, learning how to align your values with your actions, your mindset, habits, etc. Accelerating self-discovery, all that sort of stuff. So if you're interested in that, please give the page a like, and thanks a lot. We'll see you again next time. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks for having me. Cheers, mate.
No worries.